What's going on, guys? My name is Tide, and today I'm going to be telling a little story about my rimworld world. 5 men and 5 women were sent down to this planet to recolonize and repurpose the resources on it. These 10 individuals are significantly modified with a plush amount of resources that has been sent with them from their ship. After Randy scanned the area, he found the most reasonable defensive positions, and they got right to work planting crops and transporting resources out of the way to prevent any delay. Randy and Backwoods both decided to build a bridge or a water outpost in the water and put our medical center in some storage places. Then both Randy and Backwoods being our main builders, we entrusted them that they knew exactly what they were doing. Everyone else had their very specific jobs and is here for a reason. On day 5, they finished everyone's bedrooms and everyone was able to sleep fairly peacefully and fairly happy. They were able to finish the kitchen also. Souls, which is the main cook, can now cook as much as he wants after the first harvest of the farms. On day 5, a cargo pod fell and dropped unfertile emu eggs. It was a shame that they could not raise their own emus. On day 6 afternoon, a man decided to try to come in and steal a silver cut stone or a stone cutter's table and was unable to succeed because his only weapon was a knife, and he was quickly overwhelmed with the excessive firepower that this community had, which involved a lot of chain shotguns and M16s. A lot of the people weren't psyched about a man coming in and trying to steal their things, but Randy decided to help him out. He went off, built his own little cabin, and decided to try to help the man. Obviously, keeping him kind of hidden like this, he can't hide it forever, so he's going to try to tend to his wounds and save his life, just barely making it, and get back to work. It's almost bed. His wife's going to miss him, so he's off. On day 7, the farms were ready to harvest. They were packing the fridge full of food to make some delicious meals. After that first incursion, Randy and the other people felt a little unsafe. Finding out that Randy was helping this one individual, they decided to reinforce their defenses and use the natural environment as chokes. On day 13, the medical center was finished. They finished a weapon storage. They finished a clothing storage. They got a miscellaneous storage. The farms are popping. Animals are happy. And then a relationship raid. The man that they previously captured and is holding captive, his family has shown up and tried to release him. Them running with primitive weapons, they felt like they could take him on, and also they needed the captured individual to interrogate, get information, and find resources, and most of the animals scattered to a safe place as everyone runs to get into positions, knowing this is a serious combat situation. Even though they have superior firepower, they easily outnumber them 3-1. They use a boomalope, which is a natural creature that produces some type of fuel, as the very first defense, giving them some time and potentially hurting them from the weird explosion that they make when they die. To better suit them, the boomalopes themselves didn't have much use for the group at the time. Domi's the one to hold the front gate. Domi has 2 very sharp bionicle arms. She's significantly modified for a melee combat situation. So, doing the natural thing, she holds the front line and tries to prevent anyone from going by. This is where she excels at melee combat, and especially with these primitive weapons. Everyone gets into formation right behind her to shoot down the thin hallway as more and more enemies push through the front line. After a heated battle, they have successfully defended the enemies from capturing their captive and do a quick analysis of each other to make sure no one is dying or in any immediate danger. They still need a healthy amount of information and prisoners, so they evaluate the situation and try to save who they can. Almost everyone except 2 people have been hurt during this incursion, but they did get a 2-pack out of that and a little bit of smoke weed. So they rest up in the medical center for the day, and the people that's not wounded sleeps in their beds. On day 15, there was a significant fire spotted out in the main gate. A couple people went to go put it out. It wasn't that big of a deal. The majority of all the captives were still significantly hurt and still needed to rest, so we were unable to put them to work. Horlisa was still bedbound and something was still scratched up from the last incursion. Everything was looking up from here. They had a healthy workforce. All their prisoners were still incapacitated, not a big deal. They had enough food to survive probably weeks on weeks, and then another raid. After seeing the drop pods fly through the sky, they evaluated the situation and noticed a healthy amount of them had automatic weapons, bubble shields, grenades, and cocktails. This was going to be significantly harder than fighting the primitive people, but they don't have a choice. The enemies sprint across the field while our colonists sit in place ready to take them out, knowing that the grenades and cocktails were going to be the biggest threat with this assault. Domi ready at the corner and prepared to do anything she can to stop or delay them. The first man turns the corner and Domi rushes him, easily taking him out with one solid blow. The second melee comes with bubble shield, easily dispersed. And then a third guy, and a fourth guy, and a fifth guy. As long as they held their corners, they could take this. Part of the wall has fallen. Now they're able to rush out. Colonists easily becoming overwhelmed but trying to hold their stance. Everything was looking good until a stray bullet struck Slutarina and took her down, her body slumping over as something also fell. Another friendly falls, but all they can do is continue to fire back. They're too close to run away. It would just be a death trap. Then Randy falls, one of our main builders and, you could say, squad leader. One that kept moral support and always kept hopes high with tasks and future accomplishments. They decide to move the bodies to the fridge to try to preserve the bodies to give them a rightful burial ground. Backwoods decided to build 2 coffins for Randy and Slutarina, making them both out of silver out of respect. Out of a fit of rage, Tide decided to slaughter one of the Thrumbos, which was Randy's bonded pet. At this point, Souls breaks and tries to leave. He can't do it anymore. The loss of his brother was just too much, and one of his friends, Horlisa, quickly notices and goes to try to restrain him to prevent him from leaving, knowing that it isn't an appropriate choice and he's in a fit of grief. As Souls freaks out, Horlisa bashes him once, goes out of combat, and then hits him one more time, accidentally breaking his neck. Just too weak to move and go on. Souls was dead. Another brother lost of the Quad brothers, but things must go on. They quickly make arrangements for another tomb for their lost brother. Only 2 brothers remaining, Tide and Backwoods. Souls was buried and had his memorial next to his brother. Domi decided to open and find out what was in one of these ancient ruins. Whole bunch of pods of Smalians. Easy fight. A whole bunch of people that were stranded. Domi was able to save 2 of them, but one of them died. Not a big deal. The 2 people that were rescued quickly decided to join the colony. Backwoods still in a catatonic state from the loss of his brother. One of the men we rescued slaughtered Backwoods in his catatonic state from the loss of his brother. 3 brothers down, only 1 remaining. Backwoods was the last builder, so Tide had to take its place. Backwoods was buried next to his brothers. Also, a couple more caskets were made, just in case. One of the people they recruited also died, not sure exactly how, but they decided to bury him in a casket just out of respect. And then another raid. Them swarming one of the walls to try to get through one of the weak points. All melee. But luckily they still had Domi, and Domi's excels at melee. They absolutely flood the room as Domi gets to work, making the guns almost useless this close. Everyone's still grieving over their lost brothers and loved ones. At midnight, the sky lights up from drop pods flying across the sky. As more people are here to raid after raid, it's making it hard for them to live. Everyone jumps up and gets into their combat position. They come in one by one and Domi makes clean work of it, making it fairly easy. Until one of the grenade launchers come up and easily almost wipes out everyone. One man's down and 2 were injured. Now there's 2 that are dead. 1 body has been completely obliterated. 4 have died. 2 bodies have been completely obliterated. Domi and Mark, or something, is the only ones alive. Mark snaps and walks away. He can't do it. Death is exceptional to him. As Domi just fights to the death with her bionic arms, she goes down and takes a fatal blow. Mark wanders away as they capture one of them, or one of his allies, and leaves. Mark just lost all of his lovers, all of his friends, and all of his brothers. Mark doesn't know how to live on. As Mark's the only one left, he decides to bury his brothers, or his friends. Everyone else has been completely blown up, and there's no remains. So, he decides to go ahead and make the caskets in preparation to bury them. Mark was able to successfully bury one person. Eats his meal and goes down. As a lone wanderer comes out of nowhere and helps Mark. Too bad that Mark had some injuries that needed attending, and the lone wanderer had 0 medical skills and was unable to help Mark, which led to his death. And this shows you that even an advanced civilization can be dealt a bad hand of cards. People in the civilization had significant modifications, chips in their brains, exoskeletons, cyber arms and legs. There was 1 grave left, but 3 bodies. The lone wanderer also couldn't even finish the graves for his men, or for the men he came across, which was inconvenient. And that's the end of this RimWorld story. Let me know what you guys think about this trash-ass video down in the comments section. If you guys want to see more, let me know. And if you liked it, hit that like button. And if you disliked it, hit that dislike button.